Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And I want to welcome you here this morning in the SSN Nation Morning live stream. We're going to have the special guest of the hour, Prometheus. He'll be here in about 15 to 20 minutes, and he'll join in. And I want to welcome everybody here. If you have your pen, pad, and paper ready, I suggest you get it ready. And I also suggest you get your questions ready if you have them in the chat room. This is a live stream. We're going to have the special guest of the hour, Hector DAO. And the reason why I'm wearing this right here, F average, be legendary, is because this is what Hector DAO is doing. This is how I feel they were doing, representing, just like the SSN Nation, what we tell everybody to do, be legendary. That's what they're trying to do. And I see Prometheus is already here. He did not show up 15 minutes after. So we're going to get into it shortly and welcome him in. But I want to welcome everybody here first. Welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to introduce Prometheus in about 1 minute or so because I want to make a special video because there is something that is changing the game in the DAO sector, and that would be the Hector Bank. It just dropped, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 48 hours. So I'm going to play a little video. Prometheus doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I'm doing it before he comes on so you guys can see what's happening. Here we All right, ladies and gentlemen, how's that for a little preview? And of course, I'm going to have to add the man of the hour, Prometheus from Hector DAO, to the live stream. And he's going to be joining us now. So let me know what you think. Welcome to the live stream, Prometheus.
Hey, Eric. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here again. Always a pleasure to speak with you. And thanks for the whole community for coming and speaking with us today.
No problem. And I'm going to have a little feedback here for a second because I didn't put my headphones in. But I want to thank you once again. And there is a lot to talk about since you last were here. And it's amazing what you guys are doing. And I don't even know where to start, quite frankly, because you have this ecosystem going on now. And you always had the roadmap. So I'm going to have to figure out how this is all working, but I'm going to let you start it off and let you go with whatever you want to start with. We're going to have people asking questions along the way, but I'm going to let you start because I'm too excited to go over everything, and I'm going to let you start it off. So go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I mean, it's a lot has changed since we last spoke. We were very much in the early days. I guess we still kind of are in a manner of speaking. But we were very much in the early days the first time we spoke, and you know, we gained a lot of access to a lot of really cool stuff as the project launched, and so we've become bigger now, and our treasury is well over $100 million of stable coins, meaning that we've got the funding to do some really amazing things. So towards the end of last year, we spoke with the community and we made a proposal for what we call the 2022 plans, I guess for lack of better naming. And we outlined some of the things we wanted to do. So we've created what we call the Hector Ecosystem, and that includes what we're now calling sub-projects. So the Hector ecosystem is going to be Hector in general, right? So it would be the larger umbrella project. And underneath that will sit several sub-projects, so-called. And those sub-projects are the things that will generate utility for the HEC token. So whilst before we were classically a rebase project, we're now shifting towards utility. We've allocated $7.2 million towards creating these use cases. So we've got things like Hector Bank obviously has just released. That's a lending and borrowing protocol that's completely decentralized. We've got Hector Swap and Bridge and Farm coming up, which will help with our cross-chaining efforts. We've created a cross-chain team specifically to help us get onto other chains and represent our presence and our sub-projects over there. We have things like Hector Pay, Hector University, Hector Launch, all sorts of great stuff. NFTs, we're developing a decentralized game. And here's the graphic that we've produced for it. So we really are going to be expanding in 2022. The important thing to note is that some of the revenues from these sub-projects are going to be used to buy back and burn Hector tokens, which helps us become potentially deflationary one day when when we can control the supply and really give value back to people who are holding the Hector tokens and staking them. So it's really exciting times. Obviously, the markets are a little bit sideways, if not confusing right now. But the thing we always emphasize, the thing we always emphasize is that we plan to be with this project for years. I personally have stated multiple times in our community I'm going to be working with Hector for a very, very long time, at least 5 years. And it's just really exciting to be on the precipice of these developments and to think, wow, funding really isn't much of an issue for us right now. So we're hiring loads of people. The speed at which we're getting work done is absolutely fantastic. Our graphics team is doing a great job. Our developers are doing great jobs. Our marketing team is on fire. So it's really exciting. It really feels like this is the beginning of something very special indeed.
Exactly. I totally agree. From day one, I liked how your vision and how you have actually laid everything out simple, whether it's your marketing team, your development team, you guys seem to be all swimming in the same direction. And I like how you give information to the community. And by the way, speaking of community, down below in the description, please, I have the Discord group for Hector DAO link down below in the video. I also have their Twitter. So go look at, and I have another link as well. So all things Hector is down below. If you haven't joined, please join. Telegram, everything is down below in the description. So I'm going to get into this. I don't know if I should talk about this, but I'm going to have to, because with all good things that we want to happen, we don't want interference from government entities. So whenever a person, business, or anything calls themselves a bank, does that create a situation with federal agencies, federal authorities in different countries? That's what I want to know.
No, not by definition of using, not by virtue of using the word bank. I wouldn't say that it does. Obviously, now it depends, right? Because we're in the cryptocurrency space, and cryptocurrency, as of right now, is pretty much unregulated. Regulation is coming. There's no doubt. Everybody, I think, understands that. We all know it's coming. But no, there is no regulatory rules that you would activate by calling something a bank. And hey, let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say that I'm wrong on this, which I really don't think I am. We then call it Hector Finance or Hector Lending or something like that. It's more of a case of the utility of what it does. And, for those who are watching who are thinking about regulation, that's something that we're very much on top of already. We're in consultation with a lot of different legal counsel to make sure that we can fall on the right side of things and protect the projects, the investors, the community, all of our users, and obviously all of the team as well. So yes, regulation is something that we should be considering and thinking about, but I'm not necessarily sure we should be concerned about it in a way that, I don't expect regulation to obliterate crypto.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I love it how you're not sticking your head in the sand going, hey, this is what we're going to do regardless. It's better to be proactive and find out about all regulatory situations, so then that way you can always adapt and change accordingly. I love it. Once again, what can I say? I'm very bullish. And you know what's funny? People think I get paid. for talking about Hector. And I don't, ladies and gentlemen. I just love the project. All right. Now, I got to welcome a few people in, Prometheus. You know how we do it here in the SSN Nation. And Victor Marrero's here. He has the icon, which means he's a member of the channel. He has his tagline in tow. Hello, all. Let's do this. That's what we're doing here. Prometheus, thank you so much once again, because that's what we're going to do. And it looks like we have a question. What's Prometheus' thought of what's happening abroad? Not only crypto, but stock market. Crypto is very volatile now. All right. If you want to answer that one.
Yeah, so there's some really interesting stuff going on. At the start of a year, in the new year, you tend to see some weird stuff happening. Now, combine that with the fact that we're in global circumstances, which in kind of modern times, I guess you could say, have never been seen, with regards to the pandemic. Then we've got the situation of escalating tensions with Ukraine and Russia, for example. Combine that with the escalating tensions with basically every other country, and things seem to be kind of ratcheting up to fifth gear, I suppose. You can add that on to the fact that now there are, for example, in the US, the Fed and everybody who is involved with regulatory and financial policy is now starting to make decisions which traditionally are not seen as bullish in the short term. So there's changes to bonds and tapering and stuff. I think it's an interesting one. The market tends to go in cycles of tech versus physical, and tech has seen a really, really good run recently. So tech stocks go through the roof, and then physical products over tech tend to get favored a little bit, and it goes in cycles where they tend to trade. In a macro sense, tech is going to become more of a weighted thing in life anyway, because tech is pervasive in everything that it does. We're now even starting to look at the metaverse. So for those of you who have seen Ready Player One or read the book, that's what we're heading towards at this stage. So I think that tech is probably going to take that crown ultimately. I think, as with everything, financial policy should be taken. It really depends on your views and your goals, right? So if you're a long-term person, let's look at it this way. So if you speak to anybody who is in traditional finance, who works, for example, at an investment bank, they always have this common joke that the general stance is, if you ask them, is a financial recession coming? They'll always say, a financial recession is always coming, we just don't know when. So that's like the really common saying. Now, the reason that this doesn't absolutely panic everybody who is involved with that is because you have to think longer term than that. So we had the 2008 crash, and that was absolutely terrible, obviously. I mean, a lot of us were there. Yes. Awful things happen to many, many people.
Exactly.
Now, when you compare where stocks and shares, etc., are now compared to where they were then, the effects of that dip in stocks specifically, I mean, in real terms, the effects are still felt, but in stocks specifically, the effects of that dip, I suppose, have been somewhat mitigated. And so, with the things that are happening currently, it's certain things are worrying. The conflicts with Russia and Ukraine, for example. I mean, I'm in Europe, so that worries me a little bit as well. Not to mention, it doesn't matter if you're in Europe or not. That should be worrying people.
Right.
The Fed's policies as well are starting to create effects throughout the economy, and it's difficult to say whether that will be good or bad short term. We also have a mighty debt to pay for the efforts financially that we put in to solve this problem that we have with the pandemic. Do I think long term it's an issue? It depends how long term you think, but if you're in the game for several years, I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. At the end of the day, the saying "too big to fail" comes to mind here. Unless you're planning on the economies of the UK, Europe, America, wherever else to not be existing in a couple of years' time, I wouldn't be particularly concerned about it. But if you're more of a short-term oriented person, you may want to analyze your risk profile and find a tolerance that's comfortable for you.
I agree with you 100%. He's talking just like he's been part of the SSN Nation all along. You guys, we've been talking about the Fed policies, what they're doing, wiping out the middle class is the way I look at it. So we'll continue on. Hector Coin, here we go. Victor Marrero, once again, Hector Coin has taken a hit, but so have other coins. What do you think is the main cause of this? I'm going to answer some of it. Traditionally, crypto has to go up, has to go down, and it's volatile. And I'll let Prometheus add on to it how he feels.
So one thing I'll say about crypto is it rarely behaves in exactly the way you would expect. I think we all know that as crypto investors. Now, there's certain things So, for example, let's say Vitalik from Ethereum says, hey, we're going to be burning 50% of Ethereum somehow. It's not possible. Let's say he does. There are certain things like that that predictably will have an impact on market prices, because of course they will. Other things, however, particularly in smaller projects, can be a little bit harder to analyze. So with a project like Hector, yes, we have taken a hit. A lot of projects have, but we particularly have been hit quite hard, even over the last week, and that can be frustrating. I completely understand. What do I think is the cause of this? I think it's just the markets being the markets for the most part. One thing I prefer to do, and look, I get it. I am the developer or one of the developers of this project. So I completely get that I can't be completely unbiased here. I will stand up and say, yep, of course I'm biased. But one thing I would say is focus on fundamentals. And this doesn't just apply to Hector, this applies to every project in every space. If you believe in the team, if you believe in the fundamentals, if you think they can deliver, if you think what they're delivering has a use, then it's all about short-term versus long-term. Now, if you're a short-term investor, and that's fine, by the way, everybody has different goals. But if you're a short-term investor, then your risk profile needs to be slightly tighter. So, if you think something will dip further, then you have to make decisions based upon that. If you think something will pump further, you have to make decisions on that. I can't give you financial advice. You have to be able to figure that out for yourselves. But I think one of the things that makes things easier is if you learn to think more long-term. For example, I'm not financial advice, but if I had a time machine and we could go back and, if I'll bring Ethereum up again because I've already spoken about it. The fundamentals of Ethereum were pretty good from the outset, to be honest. Obviously, success, as I say, is never linear. They've had ups, they've had downs. But in general, they were solving a problem that was real and they were providing value by doing it. So if you think about, are those 2 points met? Look, those aren't the only 2 points you should consider, obviously, but they're two big ones. If those 2 points are met and you have time on your side, then it becomes less of an issue. So I think it depends on everybody's individual risk profile and their investment goals.
That's it, exactly. Right on. Curtis Davis is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Morning Edition with Prometheus from Hector DAO. And he has the icon next to his name. Good morning to all. Okay, here's something that came up that hasn't been mentioned recently. Victor Morello's asking about this talk. We're trying to talk with StrongBlock. Has there been any headway or any discussions or anything you can let us know about?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question, Victor. So for those of you who don't know, we've been in contact fairly regularly with StrongBlock. I think it's fair to say that we have a pretty good relationship. Now, StrongBlock, about 2 or so weeks ago, made a statement that they said that because of certain things that were happening in the crypto space and certain people forking and cloning their project, they would prefer to work with doxed teams from now on. And I completely understand it, completely respect the decision. Still speaking with David from StrongBlock about that particularly. The last conversation that we had was me asking if he would be open to what we call a private dox, meaning that I dox myself to him, but not to the community in general. Because if it's about trusting a person who is no longer anonymous to yourself, then presumably that solves the issue. No, I'm not going to speak for David. It's completely down to him how he responds to it. But the ball is very much in their court. I know a lot of Hectorians and the team involved would love to work with StrongBlock, but I can also understand all of the opinions on both sides of it. I've spoken about risk mitigation already today, and risk mitigation goes all the way to the top, whether you're a single investor or user, or whether you're a project owner or manager, it goes all the way to the top. So their decisions and opinions on it are completely respectable. I very much understand them. So I would say right now we're looking for a solution to that, and we're open to quite a range of different things to try to mitigate that and work with StrongBlock.
Exactly. And this comes up all the time with this doxing situation. And people know my point of view, and I'll let it be known once again. It's no more, no less. Just like when you start social media, when you start YouTube, for instance, and you start a business, it doesn't make sense to put in where you live as your residential location for the rest of the world to know where you live, where your family lives, because the world is a messy place. And you never know when somebody's going to do something stupid. So this is why I always say a person should have a virtual office if they want to work from home. So that way they have a virtual address. And that's why I call it's not doxed. So therefore, you are protected. And in the crypto space and in the finance space, I always feel a person in crypto in this new territory, I don't think doxing is a great thing personally, because if the team is doing what they're supposed to do, if they're leading with roadmaps, if they're giving the community information all the time, they're not hiding from anything. To me, that's more valuable than having somebody who I do know and I can see their face, I can do all this, and they still are doing bad things. To me, it doesn't make sense. As long as the community is doing what it's supposed to do and the project is working towards its goals and it can be defined, I don't see a problem. But again, in the background, I understand where there's Strong Block, for instance, wants to do their thing. That's their prerogative. But as far as an investor standpoint, everybody knows I don't know who the president or CEO of my bank is, who the 401k brokerage, who's running that, who's running the hedge fund. I don't sit around here looking these guys up trying to find them. Hardly anybody knows who's running any of their finances. So that's why I find this kind of appalling. And as long as the project is doing what it says, we don't have nothing to talk about. I don't care who you guys are. Minnie, Mo, and Mackie, you guys, whoever's running it, I don't care. You're doing a damn good job. So anyhow, Prometheus, I just have to keep saying this because I don't care about coin prices. If the volatility has happened, I went over this last night in my live stream. Crypto, in some instances, is down 50 to 90%. Does that mean a person shouldn't invest in it? If you believe in something and you do your due diligence and you believe that it's going to work out in the long term, like Prometheus just said, long term, not this short term stuff, then you have to invest. Hector Coin has taken a hit, just like Ethereum, just like Bitcoin, just like other DAOs. But if you believe, you have to buy more. I'm going to say it just like now. Hector DAO is taking a huge hit. This could be an opportunity. And with everything that the project is doing, let me put up this again, because I feel strongly about Hector DAO, quite frankly. And I have to put up this ecosystem. This right here, I'm like, what other DAO sets out a roadmap like this? We're talking about Hector Pay, Hector University, Hector Swap. This is crazy. So I just wanted to put that out there once again, Prometheus, because I for one, do not like this doxed or undoxed talk when a project is out here doing the damn thing. You guys are doing it. So keep doing it. And if you don't want to be doxed, don't be doxed, but you're still making one hell of a community for us all.
I can certainly see both sides of it, though. Like you said, if the work gets done right and the value is created, then what does it actually change besides public trust? But let's look at it this way. So I mentioned the 2008 crash. We know who did that. They still did it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was trillions of dollars.
That's right.
And I'm not going to compare one to the other. The point I'm making is just that being doxed is not it's not actually a guarantee that something won't happen. I think what's more important and goes further than that is, for example, our CertiK audit. That's essentially done at this stage. We're just waiting to release it. But I see both arguments on both sides. It's not my job, though, to tell people whether to invest or not. It's my job to create a product that is valuable. Charts take care of themselves if you just do the work. And so it's more a case of, I wake up every day and I'm not thinking, well, how can I make people trust me the most? It is important to me. It certainly is. But my main focus when I wake up in the day is how can I make Hector better today than it was yesterday? It's the infinite game. I'm not looking for a specific goal. I just want it to improve every day. And that's how true value is provided. And as I said, success is not linear. It's not always up. It's not always down. Sometimes it's sideways for quite a while. But if you can continue focused on your goals, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you keep your eye on the prize, success becomes inevitable.
Exactly. And with that, I'm going to add something else. Just because it's regulated also does not mean that there won't be a disaster. And we'll go back to the 2008, 2009. We'll go over what's happening right now where banks and loans and mortgages are backed by the Federal Reserve and they're buying up debt. If this was a true capitalist system and regulation worked, they wouldn't have to be doing all this stuff, causing the middle class to get wiped out. And then I call the heroes. The DAOs have stepped in trying to give people rewards or rebases every 8 hours, which means you're earning something regardless of what's happening in the rest of the economy. And I want to point out this too, because we talked about Hector Bank at the beginning, and I wanted to put this on the screen so we could see this here. Let's go over, is the Hector Bank operational as of today, or was it just dropped that like yesterday, this is what we're going to do?
Hector Bank went live yesterday in the evening UTC time. In the first 20 minutes, we generated $1 million of TVL, of borrowing and lending, or supply networks rather. We're currently sitting at about $3.5 million of assets supplied, and about $500,000 of that has been borrowed. So it's, we're looking at really healthy metrics here. It's been a fantastic launch so far. But yeah, fully operational. It's up, it's working, it works perfectly, and it will expand over time.
Oh man, that is awesome. And so the lending network has already started?
Yep, you can go to hectorbank.com right now, and you can lend or borrow whatever it is that you want to do.
Okay, so I can send a link in the chat with the lending Hector Bank network?
Exactly, yeah. So for those who are listening, if you go to hectorbank.com, it will redirect you to our lending and borrowing network. I've also dropped a link in our private chat.
Yes.
But yep, it's up, it's operational, it works, and that's the first step that we've taken towards true utility. It's been 2 months of a lot of hard work, occasionally a lot of hours missed of sleep, but this is, as they say in The Mandalorian, I guess, this is the way. These are the things that you've got to do. So, it's a huge accomplishment. I'm so proud of everybody that's been involved with it. It's been very difficult at times. Sometimes it's been easy as well. But it really has turned out to be a great success over the last couple of days. Really excited to continue developing it.
All right. Well, I got to step into this a little bit more, because this is one of my favorite things that we and I try to do here at the SSN Nation is no qualifying, no credit checks, no barriers to entry. If we can get all three of those going, I feel that that opens up the world to everybody. Nobody can be stopped. So what I want to go with this lending, because I see the lending and borrowing. Is this working as a traditional old school bank where if I borrow, I'm going to have an interest rate that I'm going to have to pay back monthly? Or are we doing the crypto borrowing where the repayment plan is based on a certain set time instead of a monthly payment?
It's somewhere in between. So what you repay is based upon the collateral that you can supply. So the way we're doing it is by doing something called an under-collateralized loan, meaning that the value of the loan you can take out is lower than the collateral you supply. The reason we do that is because in the event of liquidation, it means that the protocol doesn't lose money and the community isn't harmed. Only the individual who is liquidated loses money. So it's more of a protection mechanism. It's more efficient, and it generally is considered quite a lot safer than an under-collateralized loan, for example. So in terms of how it works, you go to Hector Bank, you connect your wallet, you put something into the supply network, and that's it. That's literally that simple. And then at that point, you're lending those tokens out. If you'd like to borrow, then you find what you put up into the supply network, whether that's DAI, Frax, Phantom, Wrapped State Hector. You click a button to enable it as collateral, and then that's it. It's that simple. You can then go into the borrow market, choose a coin that you want to borrow, and then borrow it if you want to. The main thing that we really wanted to do was to make it as easy as humanly possible. You can get to any function on that website within 3 clicks, and it all works perfectly. So it's been a pretty good achievement to make that happen.
Oh my. That is awesome. So that does sound like, as long as you are using your collateral, there isn't going to be any true like, hey, you can't do this. This is going to be just like a normal collateralized or under collateralized in this case, because we have to worry about, I call it in the stock world as margin calls. In this case, even though it's under collateralized, can there be a call if the value of the token or coin drops below a certain level?
So in this case, they're over collateralized, meaning the collateral is worth more than the loan. So if you look on the lending and borrowing thing at the bottom left of the screen here, we have a collateral factor, a liquidation factor, and then an incentive and a reserve. Incentive and reserve aren't particularly important for the purposes of this, but the collateral factor, that is equal to the amount. So let's say you have $100 and you're putting up Phantom as collateral. With a collateral factor of 70%, that means that you can borrow tokens worth 70% of your collateral. So with it's $100, you can borrow $70 of tokens. The liquidation factor means that if the value of the loan exceeds that amount of the collateral, then you'll be partially liquidated to cover the debt that you owe to the person you borrowed from. That means that for borrowers, there is no risk. And it makes it really healthy for us to be able to lend out huge amounts of coins in a way that actually makes sense for people to be able to use. It also means that we can control these parameters and set them in a way. So, for example, with WS-HEC, you'll notice that some of those numbers are a little bit lower. The reason we've done that is because we don't want to create the environment that could lead to a situation where we have cascade liquidations based on a HEC token. So with WS-HEC, you can only borrow 40% of the value of your collateral, meaning that you have a huge amount of margin for the token price to move up or down before you can, you have to start worrying about liquidations.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Due to what I call the crypto crash, because it has dropped more than 30% in a lot of cases, I'm not referring to Hector, but I'm referring to mostly all crypto at this point, unless it was a stable coin or something. The question I have, though, is even if it's 40%, maybe I misunderstand the collateral situation. But to me, if I have $100 as collateral, I can take out 40. If the coin dropped, let's say 70%, where it's down to a value of, instead of 100, down to 30, does that mean you guys send me an email and say, hey, I have to add more money? Or does that mean you guys do an auto liquidation for that extra 10%?
So because it's decentralized, we don't collect user information. So liquidations will be automatically happening. So it's really important. We've created a risk mitigation guide for our documentation, which you can find at docs.hectordao.com.
All right.
And that will explain how you can avoid liquidation. But let's use that as an example. So with a stable coin like DAI, you don't need to worry about liquidation based upon your underlying collateral because DAI is not going to move in price very much at all.
Right.
With something like Phantom, Ethereum, or WS-HEC, yes, that becomes something you should consider. So let's say that you put up $100 of WS-HEC, and the collateral factor is 40%, meaning that you can borrow $40 of something based upon that collateral of $100. If the price of WS-HEC drops to 90, for example, that means that your collateral factor is still 40%, but the value of the loan you can take out is approximately $31, $32, something like that off the top of my head, because it's 40% of what is now 90. So for things like that, that's why we have the room for margin for WS-HEC, because if the WS-HEC price falls, we don't want to cause a cascade liquidation. Right. We do make it very, very clear to everybody who uses Hector Bank that they should be reading the risk mitigation and liquidation information first, because really education is the best way to avoid liquidation and loss of funds. It really is. You can lend and borrow very responsibly, and you can make, in some cases, quite reliable returns. But if you do what I call degenerate trading, you're not going to do that. That's just how it is, which is why we're setting parameters the way they are, because we're trying to discourage people from making irresponsible decisions.
Very well said. I have to agree with you. In fact, you have some numbers up there that traditionally I tell everyone in the crypto space, in the SSN Nation, I say, hey, don't do, like, you have 70% for some of these and 40 even for the WS-HEC. I've always said, hey, due to the way crypto is volatile, you might want to stay like 10 to 15%, because here we have it right now where some coins have dropped 90%. So a lot of people have been liquidated because they have borrowed at above 20, 30, 40 percentile. So again, I agree with Prometheus. Please read the documentation if you plan on borrowing or, in fact, lending. So let's get into the lending aspect of this. If we lend out, does that mean we receive a return?
It certainly does, yeah. So if you go to the supply markets, if you hover over the asset that you'd like to lend out, it will give you an APY figure. That APY is determined by the supply and demand of that figure in the market. So let's say that you want to lend out DAI, for example, which is a dollar pegged stablecoin. If, let's say, 90% of the DAI available has been borrowed, there's a higher demand for people to supply it, and therefore APY rates go up. If 10% of it has been borrowed, that means there's less demand for the token, and so APY rewards go down for that, to incentivize people to put up liquidity for other things that perhaps are in higher demand. So looking at our dashboard right now, if we go to markets, Phantom and DAI are in highest demand, with 4% and 2% APR, respectively, meaning you get those rewards if you supply those tokens. Now, it's dynamic, remember, so it adjusts every time something changes. So let's say that you put up some DAI as a supply balance to lend out. Whilst it's 2.5% now, let's say that loads and loads of people want DAI and the demand goes up. That means your APR is going to go up as well because more people are borrowing the tokens that you've added to the pool. So it really is a dynamic system that allows us to do things in a way that where we grow and where we can react to the markets automatically. So the whole system will balance itself out over time and things will become more stable. And then we will gradually have something that is generating revenue and giving people value. So everybody wins. It's really the best of both worlds.
Wow. Okay. I was trying to get an idea. Here we go. When you were saying the borrow markets, supply markets, when you said APY, you didn't say APR, right?
That was my mistake. It's APR, not APY. I'm so used to saying APY because
okay.
of our rebasing using APY, but in this case, it
Exactly.
is APR, so it's just a straightforward linear payment.
All right, borrow markets. Here we go. 916. Okay, APR. Exactly, because a lot of people you have to calculate when you say APY. So APR is easier for most people to understand. So that's beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah, you take that number, divide it by 365, and that's your daily. So yeah, none of this confusing APY liquidity curve calculations.
Exactly.
Fortunately, because it doesn't matter how many times you make those calculations, they're still never fun to do.
Exactly. All right. So we have a few more questions here, which are this one, just curious. How curious the Hector dashboard shows HEC price below the backing per HEC price. Maybe I'm missing something here, but how can this be?
Yes, it currently does. So we experienced a bit of a dip right before this conversation, actually. So it's really pertinent that happened. It's a great opportunity to explain how this works. So we have a buyback and burn mechanism. On our dashboard, we've got something called the backing per HEC. We often just shorten that to BPH. And that shows a rough estimation, rather a rough representation of the intrinsic value of each HEC token based upon the liquidity we have in our treasury. Now, when we go below the backing per HEC, we initiate treasury transactions, which will buy tokens from the market and burn them, which helps to control the supply, but it also gives the market a bit of a boost back up to the backing number too. It creates something akin to a price floor, and it helps investor sentiment, or rather user sentiment and confidence. So the reason that it is slightly below backing right now is because these buyback and burn transactions have to go through multi-signature authentication. Multi-signature authentication is a security mechanism where each transaction that is related to something important in our contracts has to be verified by multiple people on a trusted board, meaning that no individual could just run in, do something with the treasury, and then run away. It's just impossible to do that. It adds loads and loads of security, but the drawback is it makes transactions slightly slower because we have to have 5 or 7 or 9 people in the same, ready at the same time to verify a transaction. So when we go below the BPH number or the backing per HEC number, you can be rest assured buybacks are coming. They just have to pass through our multi-signature system first. So they have to be secured. They have to be verified that they're secure and that they're doing the things that they say they are. It's just a security measure, but it can cause some delays. Eventually, we may move to a system where it's slightly more automated, but right now we're doing it through multi-signature.
Okay. That's fine. I don't see a problem there. Now, the one thing I'll go back to that supply, because you guys call it supply markets over here. When we supply, I looked at FTM. I'll bring it up on the screen. Let me see here if I can get it. Supply over here, FTM 4.7702% APR. So if we supply FTM or Phantom, then that's what we're going to earn. Does this fluctuate though?
Yeah, it fluctuates depending on the supply and demand within the network. So let's use Phantom as an example. If you click network at the top, you'll be able to see the network utilization, and there'll be like a circle graph at the bottom left, which shows Phantom. So in that circle graph, we can see the red part of the circle is the amount that's been borrowed. The whole circle is the supply, and the green is the amount that is available. So in this case, about 40% of the total supplied Phantom has been borrowed. Now, let's say that for some reason, loads and loads of people would really want to borrow Phantom, and the utilization goes up because more people are taking up that supply by borrowing it. That means that the demand for people supplying it goes up because we want more people to put Phantom in the pool so that more people can borrow it, so that we can obviously keep the system running. The way that we do that is we incentivize APRs. So conversely, let's say that if you want to borrow Phantom, it's negative 13%. That means that you will have to pay back 13% more a year after you borrow it, roughly. That can also fluctuate because let's say that there are loads and loads and loads of people that want to borrow Phantom. We want to, over time, slightly disincentivize people borrowing Phantom so that we don't drain the liquidity that we have on the bank. And the way that we do that is we make the interest rates for borrowing slightly higher over time. Let's say, for example, though, it's the other way around. Let's look at Frax is a great example. So Frax has loads and loads of supply, and only 10% of that supply is actually being borrowed.
Right.
So if you look at the interest rate that you pay for borrowing Frax, it's much, much lower. It's 1.2%. That incentivizes people to be able to borrow it because they know that their repayments are not going to be, particularly devastating. Not that 13% is anyway, but it makes it more incentivizable. But you'll notice on the other side, if you're supplying it, the APR for supplying is now only 0.1% because there is less demand for the token. So it balances itself out in a way that's very similar to markets, where if there's more buying, the price goes up, and if there's more selling, the price goes down. It's just that APRs are the price in this case.
Wow. Man, you guys, I love this. It's a mathematical equations. I love it. So this is what I love about what you guys are doing. It seems like a simple thing, but actually it's very, very difficult to mathematically get everything aligned. I love what you're doing here with this. This is awesome for ordinary citizens, people around the world. Again, I'm very bullish on Hector DAO simply because everything they're doing is catered towards what we call here ordinary citizens, OCs. All right, let's see what else we have going on with questions. Very interesting on the lending side. What interest rate do we get? This is very interesting. That is the APR. So we can earn on the lending. So why don't we go? I know you went over that real briefly, but on the lending side, I'm going to bring this up again. Let me go to the markets themselves. And again, this would be considered on the supply, right? So when we're lending, it's the supply. So this would be the APR on the left side. Is that correct?
Exactly, yeah. So if you want to lend out, for example, Phantom, because it's in slightly higher demand than the rest of the tokens, you'll get 4.7% on what you lend out. Now, be aware, if you're, for example, a mega whale and you want to lend out $100,000 of Phantom, you depositing that amount right now will probably change the APR a little bit. But as the network grows and the supply side grows, things will become more stable for sure. But for example, in the early days when there was very little liquidity, we saw APRs going up into the double and triple digits for a few seconds just because things were adjusting. So it's a very dynamic system, but it will become much more stable over time. Where it is now is probably roughly where it's going to stay for a while.
Okay. And let me go on the other side as well, because I'm going with Phantom over here on the borrow side, and this says 13% APR. How does this get repaid?
So when you let's look at it from the lender's side of things. So if you're a lender, the tokens that you get back are paid in the underlying asset. Meaning if you lend out DAI, you get DAI. If you lend out Phantom, you get Phantom. That's what those APRs are paid back in. It's exactly the same for people who are borrowing. So if you borrow Phantom, you pay back Phantom. And the way that you do that is up to you, but you just have to be able to pay back the Phantom. and that is how the money is transferred between people. So it's decentralized. It's essentially, we've created a hub for peer-to-peer lending that uses algorithms to figure out the best way to do things that helps everybody on both sides. We made this in partnership with Ola Finance, who are just geniuses, really. They made things so easy for us, and really the proof is in the pudding. The system adjusts automatically. There's really very little work it takes from our side to keep this up and running, which is absolutely great because it means we can focus on developing it rather than maintaining it. There's obviously maintenance work that goes into it, but we're really excited to keep expanding this. Some new tokens are going to be coming to the market soon. I'm not going to say exactly what they are, but there's going to be some really cool marketing moves to celebrate these new tokens. They're particularly major tokens on the Phantom network.
Wow. I'm like speechless here, Prometheus. You guys are just changing the whole landscape. I know there's other things out here that you can finance, you can borrow, you can lend, you can do liquidity pools, you can do farming, all staking, you can do all kinds of things. But this one-stop shop where you are making it a total ecosystem for a person to invest, lend, borrow, you pretty much have it all wrapped up under one umbrella, and not to mention the ecosystem in itself. Again, I am very bullish. So I want to thank you once again for talking about this. And I've omitted something. I didn't give you the congratulations for the Phantom Foundation grant for Hector.
Yeah, that was quite a moment. I remember when I found out about this, I had a call with the Phantom team, and we were just discussing things. And we were then told that we were going to be receiving the grant, and I just can't explain it. I very genuinely had a tear that was attempting to escape one of my eyes. It was a really amazing moment to have all of that hard work vindicated by the team that we respect so much at Hector, and to have that level of, I guess, validation and legitimacy given from it. It's just so exciting. We've got some really cool plans involving that grant. So we're going to be setting up Phantom Validator nodes so that we can support the network and help verify transactions on the chain. This makes Phantom faster, more secure, cheaper, more usable for everybody, but it also means that we make money from verifying those transactions, which we can use to reward holders. So it really is a win-win situation for everybody, and we're just so thankful to be in a position where we can receive this grant. It's worth, I think it's in the realms of $7 million at current prices, so it's particularly exciting for all of us. We're very thankful and really excited about it.
Yes, exactly. I just couldn't believe it. And then, even after all we've discussed here and we've shown the ecosystem, the Hector Bank, even after all that, there is now something else. Tor, T-O-R. What is this exactly? Token, coin, what is it?
Well, Tor is something I am so excited for. I've been trying to hold back all of the secrets for this for so long because it's been in development for a little while now. Tor is a stablecoin we're developing, and on the surface level, people think stablecoins, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. I think what really sets this apart is that this stablecoin is going to be used to burn Hector tokens to earn APY rewards. So for those of you who are familiar with Terra Luna, it runs in a very similar way to their UST coin. Essentially what happens is you will, if you want the stable coin, you will go and burn your Hector tokens, and in exchange we'll give you the stable coin, which you can farm with us, and you can get risk-free APYs on a stable coin, which will be very competitive. They'll be around 30%. 30% for a stable coin farm is pretty exciting. I don't know about you. The way we support this is with treasury investments, meaning that it costs us nothing to do this. And so as the treasury size increases, we can put more rewards into the stable coin. That means that the demand for the stable coin goes up, which means that more HEC tokens are burned because the demand for Hector is going up, which means the HEC price goes up because the supply is reduced, which means we have more treasury assets, which means that we can put more rewards into the stable coin, and the cycle just keeps going round and round and round. So we're very excited about the growth that this is going to produce. We think it's going to really change things for the better, in a major way. It's one of the biggest projects and one of the most ambitious things that we're launching. We're currently in alpha testing, so we're doing trials with the core team and a couple of moderators. Everything works absolutely perfectly. The reward system works. The claiming system works.
Oh, man.
It's super exciting. Later on, we might be doing a slightly larger community trial just to make sure that everything works in a larger kind of macroeconomic sense. But our data so far suggests extremely positive things. It's going to be huge for the ecosystem. And the most exciting part is that the general plan for Tor is that it will be accessible anywhere in the world on any chain, regardless of what token you have. Meaning that you can just click a button and everything's handled for you. Your tokens will be bridged. They'll buy Hec. The Hec will burn, and then you'll get the Tor stablecoin, and you'll be able to farm those rewards no matter where you are, no matter what your favorite chain is, no matter what tokens you hold. We think that's going to bring in enormous liquidity to the ecosystem. So we're really excited for that.
Jesus, Prometheus. I got a little chills because of what you were saying. This. Hey, I'm going to say it again. F average, be legendary. This is what we're talking about. I cannot believe it. What you just described, once again, you are creating ecosystems within ecosystems, and again, allowing everyone the ability to join in. This does not put it out of reach of ordinary citizens. This doesn't say, hey, you have to be worth X amount of money, or you have to live in a certain region or area. This is opening up finance, lending, borrowing, money, as in, I hate to call crypto money because it's not a currency really, but the thing is, this is opening up a whole new world to disadvantaged individuals, and you're bringing it right to the forefront. I love this. This right here, I am cheering for you.
It's what it's all about, you know. It's about legacy, right? So
exactly.
One thing I realized as I'm not old, but like I don't really think anyone should consider themselves old. But one of the things I realized as I started to get older is that there are very few things in this world that you have. One of them is family. One of them is perhaps your memories, and the other one is legacy. And you know, you can have the fast cars, the nice houses, the expensive clothes, whatever it is, whatever you want. At the end of the day, though, that doesn't mean anything if you don't do something real. And like, look, there are experiences I want to have. You know, I want to go abroad. I want to have fun with my friends. All of that. I want to have those experiences. But something that's really important to me, and particularly to the rest of the core team members too, is we want to do something real, something that makes a difference, something that changes things for the better. Because, look, the third time I've mentioned the 2008 crash, but it did bad things to a lot of people. You know, my family suffered, and we were by far, you know, not the worst people. Sorry, we didn't suffer the most. There were some families that lost everything. And to see that happen to people, it's heartbreaking. And so to be able to do something to give these people back the power that was stolen from them, to allow people an avenue into controlling their, you know, not to be too dramatic, but to control their future, really, that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, when you've had your fun with the houses and the cars and whatever else, that's what matters. That's all you have. And this is something that, you know, this is one of many things that I intend to do with my life to help move towards that. And it's, you know, we're not going to achieve this and then declare victory. It'll be on to the next thing. That's, you know, I'm very lucky that I feel that I've discovered part of my life's purpose, and this really is it. So I'm all in. You know, this is what I do, and this is who I'm going to be. It's really nice to be able to give something back to people, and I'm so proud to be supported by such an incredible team to achieve that.
Yes. Man, this is why I started SSN Nation, quite frankly, because of the way the system works, where it makes it appear that if you don't have a certain education, if you don't make enough money, if you don't have the right credit, then therefore you can't participate in the, let's call it, the well-being that you want. And I had to reverse it, where this is how you can do things with, again, no barriers to entry. We can go around it, but they don't want to tell you about how to go around it. They just want you to go through these walls that you have to keep tearing down. And eventually you run into again, 2008, 2009, 1989, 1930s. You can keep going back and over it, but every 10 years, 11 years, 8 years, something bad happens in the economy. The lower end people, middle class and under, take the brunt of it. The upper class they get to survive because they get bailouts and every other thing. So now, like you said, we can get the power back. And that's why here we talk about getting assets because they pay us. We talk about passive income. That's why Hector and DAO is doing the great thing. And now that you are stacking abilities, finance on top of finance, and making it easy for anyone to get in, that's what we do here in the SSN Nation. So this is why I have to always give a shout out to you guys. And I'm going to wrap it up, Prometheus. I know I don't know what time it is there yet, but we're going to not keep you on much longer. So I have John Ruck in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Morning Edition, live with Prometheus from Hector DAO. John Ruck in the house, a crypto guy and a gold silver bug as well. And I don't believe we have much more questions, but this is just a comment by Marrero because we went over it. But this is pretty much it. The higher the demand to borrow, the higher the interest rate for the lender. The lower the demand to borrow, the lower interest rate for the lender. So I think that pretty much sums that up. All right. So I'm going to let you go now, Prometheus. If you have any parting words, let us know. I think we pretty much went over quite a few things. And there is one other thing that I want to talk about, and that is it has to do with the ecosystem. The Hector University and Hector Pay. When you say Hector Pay, what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, this is one that's very ambitious, which is why we put it towards the end of lists, because it's going to take some time to develop. There's a lot of complications that are going to come from this, that not right. Complications in the sense of the ecosystem, but it's going to be difficult to develop this. We're ready for it, but we just want to keep people's eyes on the prize with that one and say it will take a while. But Hector Pay, well, imagine a world. Let's do the Apple thing. Let's make a real marketing thing. Imagine a world where you can pay for real world items with crypto balances and not get destroyed by transaction fees, by spending money abroad and having conversion rates, and having real control over your money in a way that actually means something beyond, banks saying, oh, we'll give you 0.1% interest, which is not even going to outpace inflation. Imagine having your money in DeFi with interest rates which mean something, but also being able to spend that without needing it to go through centralized systems. That's Hector Pay. We're creating a system where you can use your crypto assets or your tokens to buy things in the real world without having to convert to fiat, without having to go through banks. You'll be able to send and receive money to and from your friends and contacts in a way that makes sense. Click their name, type the amount, press send. That's it. One of the things we really want to do is, as you said, unlock finance for people who actually use finance. We all lost a lot through recessions, and it's our aim to give it back, to help revolutionize the system, to make something that means something. And Hector Pay is going to be a particularly large step in that direction. It's going to be running on the Phantom chain. It's going to be, excuse me, in part using utility of the HEC token as well, which is going to be great for our prices. Not financial advice, obviously. But yeah, this is going to be a particularly major one, and it's going to be a huge, huge step to help us bridge the gap between the real world and cryptocurrency, because that's now the missing piece of the puzzle. The utility is here, the usability is here, the funds are here. We just have to make a bridge into the real world, and that will be the gun that fires and starts the race for sure.
That's exactly right. I love it. Man, oh man, this is where I was hoping crypto was going from the get-go. The thing is, once people understand how many transactions can be done on the Bitcoin chain, how many transactions can be done on the Ethereum network in reality, then when you have Phantom Network, and there's other networks as well that have minor fees, that is one of the barriers right there. When you are on a chain that has minor fees and you're trying to do the ambitious pay as you go in the real world, that is major. And I think you're on the right track once again.
And here's another thing to add to that, right? So can you remember towards the middle of last year when there was the FUD about cryptocurrencies, and particularly Bitcoin being particularly environmentally unfriendly because of the power sources they were using, the energy it took? So here's a fun fact for you. The entire Phantom Opera chain, all of it, every transaction, every node, every project, every operation, all of it, the entire network uses less power per year than a single US household.
Oh
So
my God.
when that argument becomes louder, because look, we're heading for an environmental catastrophe, we all know it, we have to do something about it.
That's right.
When it becomes more valuable for people to use more energy efficient systems, where do we think that money is going to go? I suspect it might come to the Phantom chain, given that, it's one of the most efficient ways of transacting that's ever been created ever. It's about 50 times more efficient than the Visa network itself.
That's right.
And so, keep that in your back of your mind, everybody. Remember when you heard me say that, because that's going to become very important in the near future.
That's it. That was 1 minute of the future. This is it. I love it. Okay. Now let's get to the last but not least, Hector University. I know that's down the line as well, but what exactly are we talking about? I'm assuming this is not going to be one of these $20,000 a year type things. I'm hoping it's not even going to be a cost, but let me know what you guys plan on doing with this.
Hector University will be free forever to everybody.
Yes.
It's not going to be one of these, here's how I made $1 million in 1 year in crypto, and just for $10,000, I can teach you the 5 secrets. Nothing like that. None of that. Hector University is going to be a platform where you can come and learn about crypto, DeFi, rebasing, hardware wallets, security, everything. It's going to be a place where you can learn about that in a way that's trustable, that cuts the crap and doesn't give you any marketing, just gives you the information and tells you how to use that information for the best. Because one of the things that's lacking in the crypto space is education. And as we all know, and I'm sure that you're a proponent of saying this as well, education is power, knowledge is power. You educate yourself, you have everything you need. And we want to lower that barrier for everybody. So we're producing a library of content about various topics, which will expand over time. We may even consider gamifying it so that you can run through these things and have fun whilst you're learning. But we'll also be contacting experts and influencers, etc., in the space to talk about particular topics so that we can help spread the word and utilize the network of people that they have. Now, this is not some marketing play of like, we're going to do things through the Hector point of view to advertise Hector. Nothing to do with that. This is about bettering the crypto space and helping people learn to take control of their assets and to make the proper decisions, because that benefits everybody.
Beautiful. 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 Okay. Now, this brings up a few other things, and we got to do about another 10 minutes because you brought something up. And I want the university, beautiful. Just like we have the SSN University, SSN Academy, SSN Nation, always free because we're trying to help people and get them knowledgeable. Never a cost, just like what you're doing. That's why I love everything about your project. You're genuinely trying to help people. I omitted another thing, and that was in the ecosystem, is there something that's going to be NFT? Because you mentioned playable type of things. Is there going to be NFTs?
Yes, there certainly is going to be NFTs. We've been teasing a couple of screenshots of the NFTs we're making. They are, look, I'm biased, but they're beautiful. We've been producing these NFTs to be the best quality NFTs, basically, that you will ever see. That is essentially what the goal is. They are going to be used in a game that we are creating. They're going to be used in a meaningful way rather than just being pieces of art, which they are in their own right. There's no doubt about that. They're going to be used as utility NFTs as well. We have much, much, much larger aims and expansion aims for our NFT offerings, but that's how it's going to start. Besides that, we're also planning something called Nft Staking, meaning that if you're an NFT creator, you can come and work with us to curate an NFT collection, which will be then directly advertised to the Hectorian community, and we will endorse it if it's great, which we expect a lot of them to be. The reward for you is that you get access to a dedicated, die-hard community of Hectorians. As we've seen, the Hectorians are relentless, very dedicated community. The benefit to the Hectorians is that a portion of the sales from every single NFT, even aftermarket sales for people privately trading them, will be given to people who hold those NFTs. Meaning that if you hold the NFT, you get money, essentially, when people trade them. Obviously, the benefit to the NFT creator is that if there's an incentive to buy your NFT and hold it, people will buy it and hold it, and there's money to be made. The benefit to people that are buying them is that, A, they get to hold a cool NFT, and who doesn't want that, really? But they also get rewarded monetarily for buying that and holding it because they get rewarded from transaction fees. So it's a system that we're trying to create that helps benefit everybody.
Another ecosystem within the ecosystem. to help people. Man, I don't know how this is going to end, but ladies and gentlemen, you are here at the beginning, and you can actually do your due diligence and see if it's worthwhile for you to get involved with Hector DAO. Down below in the description, the Discord link, the Twitter link. In fact, they have gear just like us. The shop link is down below as well. All right. So let's talk about the very last thing. There's something that I asked originally when you first came on, and I don't know what your title is, because I look around the internet and some people have said Prometheus is the founder of Hector. You refer to yourself as development or developer or spokesperson. What title do you use?
I get this question so much. So officially, I am one of the co-founders of Hector DAO. So I was there at the very beginning. I was one of the original team. I'm a strategic lead, meaning that strategic decisions, the top-down stuff, I help make those decisions and give the project some direction as well with my colleagues who do the same thing. In a manner of speaking, I also act as a project manager for certain sub-projects that we're developing. But I don't really do titles too much. I'd say co-founder and strategy lead is probably the most accurate explanation, but we don't do the whole CEO, CFO, whatever, Lord of the Realm type stuff. It's not really important to us. As much as it'd be cool to be like, hey, I'm the CEO. We don't really have a CEO of Hector DAO. We do things as a team and as a group. We win as a team, we lose as a team, and that really has provided an incredible bond of trust between all of us. And because of that, if we're going to use a phrase, it's very much a ride or die kind of thing in our team. We're there for each other constantly because we have this utmost respect and equality between us, that we all have different talents and we all utilize them to the best of our abilities. So, but yeah, in a very roundabout way to answer that question, I'm a co-founder and strategic lead at Hector DAO.
All right. Okay. So now I'll refer to you as not only the Prometheus from Hector DAO, but then like you, it's kind of hard to say co-founder, CEO, and all that. So I'll just stick with Prometheus.
Yeah, that's fine. That's how most of the community knows me anyway. I say what I do all the time, and people just refer to me as the AMA guy a lot. So that's also fine. They're not wrong.
All right. Okay, Prometheus, I'm going to let you go. I know you have lots more things to do today, a lot of answers and questions coming up through other mediums. And also, again, I want to reiterate, please, ladies and gentlemen, study, find out about Hector DAO and their ecosystem. Go in the Discord, go to Twitter, go to Telegram, sign up, because these guys have the most awesome promotional team on the planet. I want to hire these guys myself somehow, please, because the promotions they have, the materials they put out, and it seems like they do it every day, multiple times a day. You get updated. This is more than any DAO that I know of that gives out valuable information, not hype. They're giving you information that's helping you learn along the way, helping you get information, and you just never know what could be dropped, especially in Discord. While we're talking right now, there's probably some new information that was dropped. So therefore, you have to stay up to date with them. And I, for one, he's here. I say, do your due diligence, but please consider putting some of your hard-earned money with Hector DAO. All right. I'm going to let Prometheus have the last word. So once again, thank you so much. And the floor is all yours for the ending.
Well, SSN Nation, Eric, it's been a pleasure. It always is. I always really enjoy these AMAs. I'm very lucky that I really do have my dream job. Obviously, sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's stressful, but that's life, right? You learn, you live and you learn, and that's what's really important. But, on the whole, I have my dream job. I get to speak to community members. I get to speak to people like yourself and the SSN Nation, and really explain what we're all about and have intelligent, insightful conversations and questions. It's just really nice to see people who care about stuff and who do their research. That's something I'm really passionate about, because that shows me that people are learning, and I just love to see that. That's really what it's all about. So what I would say is, I always make this joke, but I'm biased because I'm a member of the team. So it's not my job to tell you whether to invest or not. Do your due diligence. Always do that. Whether it's Hector or whatever project, or even an individual, do your due diligence. Research the team. Look at how we interact with our community, whether we deliver, the stuff that we do. We know the rules of the game. But if you'd like to join the Hectorian community, you're more than welcome. We'll give you a warm welcome. Let us know you're from SSN and we'll shout you all out in the community and give you a warm welcome. It'd be great to have you with us. For those of you in SSN Nation who are already Hectorians, it's great to speak with you again. And yep, until the next one, I can't wait. It's going to be a good one. So I'll speak to you all again soon, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. And till next time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Prometheus in the house. He was kind enough to join us this morning for us. So I want to thank him once again. And I'll have to talk to him on another day. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, this was very awesome. And as you guys know, we're not going to waste this opportunity for a live stream, right? Because what he just discussed, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why I started the SSN Nation, the Stop Struggling Now channel. This is why I started the SSN lifestyle. It was to be what Hector is doing, to try to help people without maneuvering through all this madness where people are making these promises, taking your money, and literally not doing what they say they're doing. So once again, I want to point out something about Hector DAO. They are giving you a roadmap. It's written in the Discord group. They're giving you images to show you the ecosystem. They're giving you images and now the Hector Bank to show you that you just need to invest in yourself, which also in turn means you invest in Hector. Then you have all type of different opportunities that come available to you, unlike when you give your money to a bank. What opportunity do you have? Even if you have thousands of dollars in a bank, what happens? They use your money, give you what? 0.01% or hardly anything, because they're going to charge you a monthly fee for using your money, right? So those are the things that you have to think about. When somebody says, give us your money, which is a bank, and then they say, we're going to give you some reward for giving us your money, that's how it should be, right? You shouldn't have to go beg them and say, hey, can I borrow this or borrow that when you have thousands of dollars sitting in there? They could easily say, okay, we'll use some of this as collateral, but they don't want to do that. So Hector Bank is major, ladies and gentlemen. And so I'm going to run a little promo, the SSN Lifestyle promo. You guys know what it is. And I want to thank everybody for being here. We're going to talk about it and let me know what you guys think about Hector DAO and what they're doing. And I'm going to run this promo, SSN Lifestyle promo. Why don't I do that? All right, here you go. A life-changing opportunity is here. Another day to improve financially, mentally, and physically with SSN Lifestyle. We give you the tools to succeed through our free or membership programs. We welcome you to join SSN Lifestyle today. Membership does have its privileges: passive income, entertainment and show tickets, first class upgrades, free vacations, and investment opportunities. You can help yourself and others achieve financial freedom. If you are stressed and need extra income, we can help. If you are motivated, willing to put in the effort to succeed, please join us at SSN Lifestyle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I had to give you a little preview, and I see Prometheus is still in the background. So let me see if he wanted to have any last things to say that I might have missed, just in case. I'll put him on the screen.
Hi, yeah, hi, still here. No, I was just excited to watch the outro, to be honest. I always love watching it, just seeing what the community says. But yeah, still here.
Okay, it's all right. I didn't know. I just figured I better, just in case you had something to say. But all right. But thanks again, Prometheus. I really, really appreciate it. And of course, you can sit back and relax because we are always going to talk. Last time when you were on, we were actually on another 2 hours talking about it. It was crazy. It ended up being like a 4-hour live stream. So
that's dedication, man. That's the grind. I respect that. Yeah,
exactly.
the chances are, because I've got to go and drive somewhere, the chances are I'll just stick that on and listen to it whilst I'm driving. But yeah, I'll be sitting there thinking I can answer this question and then not be able to do anything. So that's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's been a pleasure. It really has. It's always a great time when I come and speak with SSN. So take care, everybody. Have a green week as much as you can, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, you got it. Thanks again. All right, bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you guys in the SSN Nation, what do you think about Hector DAO? I want to hear it. You guys know how I've always discussed the ecosystems. You know how I discussed helping others, how I discussed this is why we should share our videos. This is why you should tell people to come and check out our live streams, because you never know what's going to be talked about and how it can help your fellow humans. All right, let's see. Good job, Eric. Keep it up. See you at the top. In fact, here's what I'm going to go do now. Let's go. Let's go see what's happening. I'm going to go over here and see what's going on. What's the price of Hector? Because if it's just like how everything has been going down, let's see. I haven't even been here. Let's go look. In fact, I guess I better not do it that way. Hector crypto price. Let's see what it is. The beauty, $35, ladies and gentlemen. If this is correct, $33. This right here is so interesting. $30. Oh my, ladies and gentlemen. If this is correct, this is on sale. This is on sale. Unbelievable. It's on sale, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Evans is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Morning Edition with Prometheus from Hector DAO. Thank you. I appreciate the knowledge. Thank you so much, Mr. Evans, with the icon next to your name. Much appreciated for the support. And John Ruck saying the love. That's right, John Ruck. Look at, oh, ladies and gentlemen, look at this, under $30 right now. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but it looks like our favorite assets are on sale. 50% sale. Just like the rest of crypto, it's on sale. I don't know what's happening this morning. Here we go. Let's go. I want to go see something here. 1 month. The low was 24. The high is 82. Now, I'm going to say something because you guys know how I feel about DAOs. The thing that I love about DAOs is this: rebasing every 8 hours. You earn rewards every 8 hours. So a coin price may matter to you, but that's not what should matter when you start new. All DAOs are pretty much less than a year old. What you want to see is build out. Hector DAO has been one of the few that have went above and beyond. They did the 4-4. Now they're doing the Hector Bank. Now they're doing the lending and borrowing on their platform, not sending you over to Spooky Swap, Spirit Swap, Trader Joe's, getting in that liquidity pool and then having to use your coins over there. This is an ecosystem that they're creating, unlike other DAOs that I know of. They're going to be in the NFT space. They're going to have a game as well. So now that is going to be something to look forward to. And you've heard what Prometheus was saying, where if you have an NFT, you can earn rewards for holding it. Not that you have to do something, but for holding it. That means something similar to what I'm doing with the SSN lifestyle. It has to do with your level. The simply buying in and holding and participating, you receive some sort of rewards. That is very powerful. Now, we don't know how much it's going to cost for an NFT, of course, because an NFT that creates money is going to be valuable, right? If you can earn rewards, whether it's monthly, daily, weekly, whatever it's going to be, that means it's not going to be worth $1, right? It's not going to be worth $5. So think about it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be something very, very special, and they're not stopping. And keep in mind, they have the treasury. All right. They have the treasury. Let's go over here. I don't know if I can get into this right now today, but we're going to go find out. Let's go see. This is Docs. I don't even see the app. I haven't even been over here because I don't care if the price goes down, ladies and gentlemen. You know why? It doesn't matter. It's what I've said before. Every 8 hours, when you're getting your rebase, let's just say, I'll use a simple, this is not Hector in itself, but let's just say I started with a coin is worth $10. All right. And I bought one coin. The coin drops to $5. But 8 hours later, I have 1.2 coin. 8 hours from there, I have 1.4. 8 hours from there, I have 1.6. This is an example. So let's say in 3 days, I have 2 coins instead of 1. So the fact that the coin dropped to $5, guess what? I still have $10 of value. This is why earning the rewards every 8 hours is very, very powerful. Because if you have a situation where the coin drops, you are still earning more of the coin or token. So therefore, you can stabilize your losses. And then what happens? Now it goes the other way. Let's say instead of it going down to half price, what if it went up 50% to where instead of $10, it's $15, and you have those same 2 or 3 days where all of a sudden you have 2 coins. Now your original $10 investment is worth 30. So on the upside, you get a bigger swing than on the downside. But as long as it doesn't go to zero, you still are earning rebases every 8 hours, increasing your value. Keep this in mind. This is why this is very powerful. And this is why DAOs potentially could change the whole landscape of financing. Because once this becomes mainstream, imagine 2 years from now or a year from now, because they've already been out, but Hector's only been out like less than 6 months, I believe. But imagine 6 months from now or a year from now. And with all this ecosystem going on, and imagine if other people join in. That is what we're looking at here. You have an opportunity to be where Apple was, Microsoft was, Hewlett Packard. Back in the 80s, when everybody said all these companies were fly by night, the internet won't work, no way, no how, it's not going to happen. Everybody who kept the faith, not just for 1 year or 2 years, but for 20 years. Because remember, Apple almost went out of business in the 90s. And their competitor, Microsoft, gave them a loan so they can stay in business. The people who believed in Apple in 1989, 1990, it was hard to believe in Apple when they were losing money and about to go out of business in the mid-90s. Then Microsoft steps in and saves them, their competitor, by the way. And the rest is history. But yet we had a dot-com bust in the late 1999, 2000 era. And it was a reset. Amazon, Apple, all the chip stocks, all these companies that were high flyers, hundreds of dollars, drops to $2 a share, $3 a share. So once again, the same thing that happened then is happening now in crypto, except crypto's not as old. And therefore, it's up to you to do your own due diligence and research, study history, because history matters. Whether Hector DAO ends up long-term or not. There will be winners in this space, but it's a lot easier for a winner to pick a winner when they're innovative, when they're thinking of helping everyone, not just thinking of their bottom line. And when you have multiple products and services, now you're catering to a larger percentage of crypto people. Because remember, there's only about 225 million people right now that are even into crypto. They're making it easier for a person to get in. So you can imagine, picture this a year from now. Instead of 225 million people, people say, hey, I know about this. I'll use Hector. And they'll say, hey, I know they have a bank. I want to join this because I know I can borrow, I can lend, I can make interest on my money or crypto. I can earn rewards if I stake it. I can earn some additional rewards if I do the 4-4 bonding and staking. All this comes into play, and ultimately it comes into 1, 2, or 3 clicks, like Prometheus said that the Hector Bank does. That's always been a thing. If you can get to somewhere in 3 clicks and get it done, that's when instead of 225, 250 million people of crypto, all of a sudden you have an additional 100, 200 million people. Everybody wins because prices have to go up because of the demand. So this is what we have to talk about here. Now, what is the best place to buy Hector? I only have Coinbase, Robinhood, and Webull. Okay, you can't buy Hector straight out. So here's what I mean. It's I don't even know where to begin right now because I did Rubic.Exchange. So first of all, you have to get FTM. All right. So I haven't really checked out where to get Hector. I shouldn't even say really, but the way that we did it before is you got to get FTM on the Phantom network. But now we have something called Rubik Exchange. So I'll show you Rubik Exchange, and it's a multi-chain platform. So now they've probably added Coinbase. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, but Rubic.Exchange. That's where we go for this, right? And it's multi-chain. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to launch this for you because they might have added Coinbase where you might not even have to move anything over, but you're going to have to get FTM. Now, see, FTM is normally an ERC20 token, so you're going to have to pay the Ethereum fees when you're doing exchanges and swaps. So I'm going to come over here, but this is the easiest way because it doesn't matter if you have your FTM on the ETH network other than the fees. So you're going to be charged $30 if you're on the ETH network. So I can tell you the easiest way for me and the way I talk about it is, first off, you're going to buy on Coinbase. All right. USDT, you're going to send to KuCoin or Gate.io. I have videos on both of these. But before you send USDT to either one of those, which, by the way, here's the thing. Let me go look at something. See, Coinbase is a wallet now. So actually, you might not have to do much. So you might be able to do this here at Coinbase, USDT. Let's see if it comes up. So you can run for, if you run exactly. So they don't. All right, maybe I'm stuck. Oh, it looks like we're stuck here. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Looks like I'm stuck a little bit. All right. Let me go see what coins they do have on here. Here's USDT. All right. So in theory, I can have USDT at Coinbase. Then I could say, hey, I want to get Where's the Phantom? Well, actually, I don't even have to do that. I can get Hec direct. So I can get Hec direct, USDT to Hec at Rubic.Exchange. Then I connect my wallet. So there you go. That is like the easiest way to do it right now. So you don't have to do anything. You can just go to Coinbase, buy the USDT direct. And then since this is multi-chain and USDT, that's probably going to be $20. And then because Hec is on the Phantom network, it'll only be pennies, 30, 40, 60 cents of FTM fees that are going to come out. So that's the easiest way to do it, in my opinion, right now. It's pretty simple with Rubic.Exchange. Hopefully that helps you out. Now, if you have to go the long way, like I said, the long way is you buy USDT at Coinbase, send it over to KuCoin or Gate.io. The reason why you send it over there is so you exchange the USDT into FTM. Because remember, FTM, you're going to need that because that's gas fees. You at least need one of those FTMs, which are only $2 or whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is you send it over to KuCoin or Gate.io, but before you send over USDT there, you log into KuCoin or Gate.io and make sure that you can withdraw on the Phantom network into your MetaMask, because sometimes there's no liquidity, so you can't withdraw. You have to wait a few days. So make sure that once you exchange the USDT into FTM, that you can withdraw it on the FTM Phantom network. And then that makes your life easier, because then you don't need Rubic.Exchange. Then once you have FTM, you can just stake it and swap it at Spooky Swap. And then you can just sit there and just stake it at Hector DAO, HectorDAO.com. But anyhow, I know I'm going all over the map because in my brain, I'm thinking well ahead, because I would probably just use Rubic.Exchange. Make it simple. But remember, you are going to need FTM for gas fees eventually. So you might have to get a little FTM, at least one or two. So that's only $4 or $5 worth of FTM. That'll pay gas fees for staking and everything else. All right. Now, let's see what else we have going on. Looks like a little slow today. All right. Victor Marrero, you can tell Prometheus is totally dedicated and committed to make Hector something unique and to keep the community engaged. That speaks volumes, especially now with crypto being so volatile. Exactly. A lot of people are running and hiding because everybody wants to always talk a good game. When crypto's going up, everybody's rah, shish kumbah. When crypto or stocks are going down, people are all freaking out and panicking. But you guys know here at the SSN Nation, we don't panic. It's a buying opportunity. Crypto, stocks, real estate. Those are assets, ladies and gentlemen. When they give you a 50% price point, 60% price point, that is a discount. If you believe in the product, believe in the stock, believe in the crypto, believe in the real estate, then you have to buy more. If you don't believe, don't buy. If you don't believe and want to stand pat with what you have, nothing wrong with that either. But it's a lot easier to stand pat when I know I'm earning some rewards every 8 hours. That's why I don't even get upset that the coin prices have dropped. I went over this. Every 8 hours, we're earning. Strong block, it doesn't matter. Earning every day. Power node, doesn't matter. It went down to less than $1. Still earning every day. Hector DAO, Wonderland Time, prices have been obliterated, but we're still earning every 8 hours with the DAOs. Klima, every 8 hours, we're earning. So therefore, will this have a shakeout? Yes. But will you add more money? You should. I'll be adding more money into the DAOs probably next week, because I don't believe the bottom is still here. You know why? Because the stock market still hasn't hit rock bottom yet either, I don't believe. They're still messing with the stock market. So I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen over the next 4 or 5 days at the end of the month. This is going to be very interesting. And I believe that the prices are still going to go down even further. It's going to be amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Robbie D is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Morning Edition. We were live with Prometheus from Hector DAO, and Robbie D has the icon next to his name, and he says, hello, Eric. SSN Nation in the house. Thank you so much for being here. The early edition, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget the Wednesday night live edition, where it's members only with the icon next to their name, can be in the chat room. I don't know what the subject matter is going to be, but it might have to be talk about Hector DAO some more, not with Prometheus, but amongst ourselves, because we have a lot to unpack and a lot to go over with Hector DAO. The guys that are like, let's call it cousins. Let's call it the kin. Let's call it what it is. Just like SSN Nation, they're doing the damn thing. F average, be legendary, ladies and gentlemen. And Hector DAO is trying to be legendary. They're doing the damn thing. I'm so happy about this because there's not too many places that genuinely try to help ordinary citizens. Here is what help looks like in most cases. Buy my course, buy my book, buy something from me, and then I'm going to allegedly help you. But if that help turns out to not help you, I still made money off of you. That is what help looks like normally, and people accept that help. And that's why people are willing to pay thousands of dollars for webinars, seminars, consultation fees, and this, that, and the other. When you flip it on its head and say, we don't want anything from you, we're going to try and help you. You can take it or leave it, but at least we're not saying give us your hard-earned money for an exchange. That's why I love Hector DAO. That's why I started Stop Struggling Now. Not to offer these services. Everybody says, Eric, how much do you charge for consultations? I tell everybody because I don't want you guys, I don't want to take your money for that. Because I say I get paid more than lawyers do. Thousands of dollars per hour. Therefore, nobody's going to do that for a consultation fee, right? So therefore, if you want to know something, you ask in the chat room, ask in the comments, send me an email, I'll help you. That's what Hector DAO is doing. And with Hector DAO running their Hector University, I was very happy to hear just what we do here in the SSN Academy, SSN University. Information is free. It's up to you to do your due diligence even further and find out which path you want to take. But they too are going to give information for free. You know I'm down with that. So therefore, I don't get paid by these guys, but anybody that has the same belief system that I have to support and I have to back them. I have nothing to say bad about people who do sell courses, sell books, sell this, sell that. That's fine. But everybody doesn't have a chance when there's a cost associated with a buy-in price. All right. So that's what we're doing. All right, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think about the Hector DAO ecosystem? What do you guys think about the banking? I'm going to put it back up on the screen, the ecosystem, in case we have some new people here who are not familiar with the Hector ecosystem. This is the order that they're going in, ladies and gentlemen. So we have the Hector rebase. You guys already know about this. Hector cross-chain. Well, I don't know about the cross-chain, but we know we can do Rubic.Exchange. And now you know about the Hector Bank. This is the third thing on the list. Look at all the rest of the way they're going. NFTs are coming out. The Hector game is coming out. The metaverse is here. They are joining in as well with this, and rewards are going to be possible in-game and owning an NFT. The Hector relaunch, the Hector swap, the Hector University, Hector Pay. This is what PayPal started out to be. This is why PayPal was successful. If Hector Pay turns out to be what I think it's going to be, that means just like you have this small fees that merchants usually have to pay, but they pass it on to the consumer. When you do a transaction for your Visa, MasterCard, debit card, there's that in-transaction fee. Well, it changes the whole game when the transaction fee is like 10 cents, 3 cents, and you don't need to have a merchant account. Just like cryptos we have right now, they're taking an offshoot. That's what Hector Pay is going to be designing. Oh, by the way, get your free $10 of Bitcoin from Coinbase down below. Free $10 of Bitcoin from Coinbase down below in the link. Get your free $5 of Shiba from Robinhood. From Webull. I'm sorry. Free $5 of Shiba from Webull down below. Get your free stocks from Robinhood and Webull down below. There's always freebies, ladies and gentlemen. You know when we're on the live. But imagine, get your .crypto, .coin, .bitcoin, .wallet, .nft. You can get it from Unstoppable Domains. Get that real estate, because you never know what the future is going to be. In 1990s, people didn't understand what a .com ultimately would lead to. So even to this day, there's a .net and a bunch of other things, right? .us, .gov, .edu. Nobody really knew what was going to happen. So therefore, if you get in early and you get your own .crypto name, like ericbird.crypto, stop struggling now .crypto, stop struggling now .nft. Even though I don't know what's going to happen, it was worth paying $20 for these, because there is no annual fee, right? You guys have to understand, you don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 1 year from now. So keep this in mind. If you want to be legendary, sometimes you have to think outside of the box. And therefore, that's why you would want to think seriously about getting Unstoppable Domain, a domain, whether it's your business, whether it's your family name, whether it's a company name, it doesn't matter. Your personal name, because Hector Pay is similar to what I think is going to happen in the future. We won't have to go through what's happening right now. When the government goes, we're going to start reporting Cash Apps, the Venmos, the PayPals, and all that. That's fine. Governments can do that. But now, picture now, you're sending me crypto to ericbird.crypto. Government has nothing to do with this transaction. We're not going to be taxed. We're not going to be taxed on it. We're not liable for tax on it. And that's where the situation is going to come to. It's going to be regulated eventually, because they don't want to allow ordinary citizens to be able to use your money as you want to. Because traditionally, they've always taken your money, all the forms. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this. Let me ask you something right now. You go to work, right? You get a paycheck. Even if you own your own business, you have profits, you have losses, and you have money. Think about this. What do you do with your money? You have to have it somewhere, right? Most of the time it's sitting. Let's say somebody pays online, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, whatever. Okay, it's sitting on those platforms. That means it's sitting at a custodial situation. You don't own it in reality. You can see it on your computer. You can see it on your phone. You decide to withdraw it to where, or you decide to use that debit card they gave you. But either way, you're not holding it. They are holding it, whoever they is. When you get a paycheck and you say, and it goes to your direct deposit to your bank is holding the money. Now, flip the script where the bank isn't holding millions of people's money. Millions of people have their money sitting at their ericbird.crypto. Now they have a problem. You don't have a problem because you control your money. There is none of this bank holiday that happened in the 1930s. There is none of this, the ATM machine doesn't work, just what happened last week. There is no bank that just shut down and you can't get your money out of. Who's going to be liable? You're not going to be able to go to the FDIC depository and say, hey, man, I had $200,000 in there. They're going to be, so what? We only have X amount of money for this amount of people. So you better take this $10,000. All of this people do not understand. Once you understand how powerful this is, this new frontier, you have to participate one way or another, at least find out about it. Don't get left behind, because you can get left behind very, very quickly. I dare anybody to leave the United States, go off to the mountaintop, come back a year later, your mind will be blown what has happened in a year. You would not know where to begin. And imagine being lost for 3 years and coming back 3 years later. If somebody left in 2019 and came back in 2022, they would be losing their mind right now. Technologies, everything has shifted to a whole nother level. Catching up, hard to do. So therefore, we don't want to be left behind here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going on my little speech this morning because, hey, it's the SSN Nation. I can talk. And oh, by the way, I have COVID allegedly. That's right. I have COVID. I tested positive. But as you can tell, it is what it is. But again, I'm not going to say rah, rah, shish kumbah, but I'm going to say this. I vaccinated 1 and 2. So everybody knows I'm not out here where I wasn't vaccinated and I have COVID. I am vaccinated and I tested positive. All right. Whether I have the symptoms, I don't, although my throat's a little sore. But other than that, any other symptoms that they say I haven't had, I've been lucky so far. So I have to attribute that maybe to the vaccines that I've taken. I haven't taken the booster, but at least I took the first 2. So maybe that's why I have minimal situation. All right. Now, let's get into the last thing, Hector Bank. If you don't think this is major, then you haven't been paying attention to the American or the international banking industry. They are using your money as collateral. And I always pick on somebody. This is so funny. I always pick on somebody. I'm going to pick on Fundrise today. All right. So people say I want to invest in real estate. And so I'm going to give my money to Fundrise. Fundrise turns around and tells you, we're going to give you 5% per year on your money. And then you're going to reap some of the rewards when we sell the property. And for the life of me, I'm still trying to figure out why this is so appealing to people, because we have people in the SSN Nation that have given money to Fundrise and other real estate platforms. The thing that I'm having a hard time with is, how is it that 5% appeals to somebody, and when we sell the property, you don't know when they're going to sell the property. So they could sell it 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. But you're willing to give people tens of thousands of dollars for a 5% return, not knowing what they're going to sell the property for or any profit ideas 4 years, 5 years later. I don't understand how that's different than making any investment. Because if all you want is 5%, hell, you can pick a stock today that went down 60% and sit back and wait. Probably in the next 30 days, I guarantee you it would go up probably 5%, at least one of the days, or the 2 or 3 of the days it'll go up 5%. You're not going to sell because your stock went up 5%, are you? Because I'm missing something entirely. Because I know there is never anybody that goes, hey, you know what? I made a 5% return today. I sold. But yet, here we have people doing 5% annual returns, giving money to people, saying, use my money to go buy $1 million properties. And all I care about is 5% over a year. If all you want is 5% over a year, and that's some big thing, I'm not understanding, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody please help me here. I'm talking a little smack this morning, because there's a lot of people who don't want to invest, but yet they'll give their money to, I always got to pick on them, Cardone, a syndicator, They'll give money to syndicators. They'll give money to Fundrise. They'll give money to these guys and go, hey, I'll take 5% annually. For every $1,000, you're getting $50. Hell, you can go down and get something on clearance at Walmart, put it on eBay, and earn more than 5%. But I don't understand why somebody thinks that risk is so much easier. Me too. I did not get any shot, and I just got COVID on Thursday and just got sore throat. That is all too, but I did not get shot. Yep, John Ruck. Exactly. Here's the thing. One thing that when the test came back, it doesn't tell you which variant. So on mine, at least, it didn't say, because there's different, like there's a Delta, Lambda, and Omicron. So we don't know which one it is. So it could have been one of the milder ones, which Omicron apparently is a lot more volatile, where people can catch it a lot easier, but it's not as deadly as the previous versions. So maybe that's the versions that we have. I don't know, but we'll see. My first time getting it, John Ruck. Me too, man. And I was just thinking about going to get the booster, but I can't get the booster until I'm negative again. Hello, SSN fam. Just dropping by and working. Wilson Coos in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Morning Edition. We were live with Prometheus from Hector DAO, and I'm going on a little rant, ladies and gentlemen, about investing, because people out here are scared and they don't do investments. But when the stock market starts going up, when crypto starts going up, all of a sudden they start going, yeah. But in the meantime, all this stuff, when people are doing investments, afternoon to Victor M, John R, Robbie D, Curtis D. In the meantime, I'm going off about the fact that people are willing to give people like Cardone, Fundrise, other syndicators their money and then go, hey, man, I believe in these guys because they showed me a boat, a plane, a car, and all I'll take is 5%, and they use your money just like a bank does. How do you think they're getting these big ass projects? They get 1,000 people to put up $10,000. They have millions of dollars, and they go and say, hey, I have the 25% down. It's from all these people here who are in my fund. So yeah, you're going to let me buy that $5 million, $10 million apartment complex, right? And all I'm going to give back to people is 5%. I'm making money every month, and I'm charging you management fees. So I'm actually siphoning off part of your 5% return that you think you're getting. I'm taking 1% management fee per year. So your 5% ain't 5%. Not only that, I'm taking some other fees when we sell the property as well. So again, you're not getting 5%. You're getting less. They used your money just like a bank uses your money to collateralize what they're going to buy and make them more money. And so how can I sit here and listen to people tell me I'm investing in these vehicles and only caring about 5% annually? And, oh, I don't know how much money I'm going to make on the 3 or 4 year or 5 year plan. How is that an investment strategy? I don't get it. You can get dividend stocks. PSEC gives you more than 5%. And you can compound every month because they pay every month. So if I'm getting 9% from a dividend stock like PSEC or AM or USDP, how is it you're going to put money in a 5% fund while 1% is siphoned off to management fees every year? I don't get it. I don't get it. And then when you want to sit here and talk about new things coming out, I don't want to take a risk because crypto, it's bad, it's whatever. You're taking a risk when you invest in these little other platforms. So why wouldn't you just take a little 10% risk in the new platforms? You never know what's going to happen. All right, let's go. The tests can't tell the variant unless they do the blood and able to see how the markers for the variant. All right, there we go. So that explains it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we don't have too many people here in the morning, but hey, It's one of those things. We rarely have a morning live stream, but today it was very important because Hector DAO Prometheus was in the house and he answered some awesome questions. And this can help out a lot of people. There's lending at the Hector Bank. There's borrowing at the Hector Bank. There's no barriers to entry at the Hector Bank. This is what we love here in the SSN Nation. All right. Now, I'm about to wrap this up. It's 2 hours in. I wasn't planning on going this far. I see most people don't have any further questions or anything about the Hector DAO brand. So we'll get back into it another day. Now, I want to show this once again, just so everybody here understands, this is a major shift in DAO. This is a major shift because they are making partnerships with Ola Finance. This is how it's working. They are doing everything in their power to make things better for the community, and that is people like us. All right, ordinary citizens. Watch the live stream. He goes over how these percentages and what these percentages mean, because that is what you can borrow at. And again, if you're going to borrow crypto, if you're going to borrow against your stocks, all I can say is 10% to 15%. If this crash that just happened has not warned you against borrowing at these high rates at 40, 50, 60%, I don't know what will, because some of these coins have crashed 90%. And because they have crashed 90%, most people have been liquidated. All right. Just keep that in mind. That's if they bought at the higher price. Not everybody bought at a higher price. Some people bought at the prices they are right now. So therefore, they would still not be liquidated. But what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of people who bought at 50, 60% higher, and they are being liquidated, which also exasperates the downward price, the pressure on the market, because they're just dumping more of these coins or stocks on the market because people are being liquidated from their positions. All right. So that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to wrap this up, but please smash the like button and click the all notification bell if you like what we're talking about, and subscribe to the channel. All right. Now, Robbie D says, how do I get into the Hector Bank? Okay, Hector Bank is here. Let me give you a link so you can actually go check it out. I'll put it in the chat room. So here is the link for it. So you can go check it. Everybody can go see it. All right. So just keep in mind, they came out with this new coin called Tor or token. I don't know exactly what it is, but when that comes out, that has its own ecosystem as well. That is going to be a stable coin, which is going to help them out in the long run with Hector. Keep in mind, a bank needs a stable coin, right? US dollar needs to be a stable coin in order for it to function around the world. Same type of thing here. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And this is why we have to talk about all the different avenues that you have at your disposal to use your hard-earned money to make more money. Remember that. That is the goal this year, passive income. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.